This video presents a tense and emotionally charged situation centered around responsibility and consequences. It follows the case of Bernardo C. Warda, who was already serving a probation term but failed to complete an important requirement, a mandatory mental health evaluation. What might have seemed like a small step turned into a major turning point in his life. As the discussion unfolds, it becomes clear that his lack of cooperation and repeated delays have led him to a critical moment where his future hangs in the balance. Throughout the video, the focus remains on the importance of personal accountability. The situation highlights how opportunities are given, but they must be taken seriously. Warda had multiple chances to comply with the required evaluation, yet his refusal to fully cooperate created more complications. Even when alternatives were suggested, such as outpatient care, the main issue remained his unwillingness to follow through. This made it difficult for any leniency to be considered, as actions speak louder than words. As the tension builds, the situation reaches a decisive moment where a clear choice is presented: either commit to completing the required evaluation process or face the consequences of not following through. This moment reflects how life sometimes puts people at a crossroads, where decisions cannot be avoided and excuses no longer work. Instead of choosing the path that could potentially help him move forward, Warda stands firm in his decision, fully aware of what it could lead to. In the end, the outcome serves as a powerful reminder that every decision carries weight. The video emphasizes that responsibility is not just about being given chances, but about how those chances are used. When someone repeatedly ignores important obligations, the consequences become unavoidable. It's a strong lesson about discipline, commitment, and the importance of making the right choice at the right time, before it's too late.
Regulations and instructions as directed by the court and/or supervision officer in violation of condition number 39.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True.
All right, so if y'all want to,
Yes, Your
all right, did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 39, court could find it true, grant the motion, and sentence you up to 8 years in the prison?
Yes, Your Honor.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 39?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, the court will find violation of condition number 39 true. Is there a proposed agreement or no?
No, there is not, Your Honor.
All right, state, what are you requesting?
We're asking that you follow probation's recommendation, Judge, which is to alter and amend the conditions for DDRF and to hold the probationer, hold Mr. Huerta in custody until the Center for Healthcare Services, the Tacoma evaluation, the TCOOMMI evaluation for DDRF is completed, Your Honor.
All right, defense, what are you requesting?
Judge, my client has been in since January awaiting the DDRF. The wait is very, very long for DDRF. There was, yes, he's pled true to not doing the eval. He did a part of an evaluation and thought he had completed the entire thing. But he would like the opportunity to do some sort of outpatient. Our understanding is the wait for DDRF is 6 or 7 months long, potentially, which means he will be sitting in jail almost a year by the time that happens. And so is there anything, may I ask him if there's anything else?
Sure, but I will tell you, if you would have agreed to see them, you would have been done.
Yes.
And your 6 months would have been done.
Can I, whenever.
All right, you want to raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
You can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Bernardo Huerta, Your Honor.
All right. What would you like to say?
Yes, Your Honor. I do understand that, but it's still a 6 to 7 month wait. I have almost 2 years back time on this case already, just sitting in the jail.
Oh, do you just want to go to prison?
No, Your Honor, I don't.
All right, so here's the thing. Let's talk, no, stop. Let me explain something to you for a moment. Let's go off the record for a second. I don't know why people commit offenses. You plead to the offenses that you committed. You're placed on probation. You get a motion to revoke. The reason why you have the DDRF pending is because you were here for a motion to revoke a violation of condition number 4. Guess what? If you were not placed back here for a violation for your motion to revoke, you never would have been waiting for a mental health evaluation. What ends up happening is people are on probation. They're excited about getting probation because they thought they were going to prison. And people will stand before me and you know what they will say? I can be on probation for life. I'm pulling my life together. You can ask me to report every day. I'll do it. I already know that's not going to happen. It's sort of like when people say, I'm 1,000% sure that I'm clean. You know what that usually means? They're dirty. Anything anybody says that's beyond 100%, it's usually not true. So you came before me with that. You were placed on probation July. Then February 2024, you had a violation of condition number 4. And I remember you. You came before me. You were so happy to be continued and not be revoked. And now you come before me.
I haven't.
And
gone
here's the thing though.
I haven't gone out of jail.
Here's
I've been in
the
jail
thing.
this whole time.
Here's the thing. But the reason why you're in jail is because of your actions.
Yes, Your Honor, I understand.
And people will come before me, and let me just tell you what happens. Some people will come before me and they'll say, I don't belong to a gang. I don't do drugs. Or I pay child support. And I always ask people when they would say, I pay child support. What, you want a cookie? That's something you're supposed to do. Like, you're not supposed to be before me on motions to revoke because you're supposed to be doing what you're supposed to be doing. And whenever I give people conditions, or whenever probation recommends conditions for them, they want to write their own program. If you could write your own program, guess what? I wouldn't have a job. Defense attorneys wouldn't have a job. The state wouldn't have a job. It would be great. But you can't appear before the court and then decide that you're writing your own program and you deciding that you're not going to follow through and speak to the person. If you would have spoke to that person in April, your 6 months would have been done. You would have been either in DDRF or not. They would have transferred you. But you know what? You've been pushed back. You know why you've been pushed back? Because you did not want to do the other interview because you're like, I'm done. And I always tell people when you're on paper, and that's what this is a contract, you're on paper. Even if somebody tells you, we're coming here for an interview, and even if you've thought you've already done the interview, doesn't hurt you to go ahead and do the interview, then you can come to court and say, they came to me for an interview for a 3rd time, and I had already done the interview. Then we can discuss that. But when you don't follow through on what you're supposed to do, guess what ends up happening? Everything falls and you get placed at the end of the line. Because guess what? There's somebody there who's on probation, who had to be interviewed for mental health and DDRF. And guess what? They took your spot. That's where we are.
That's the only thing. I'm just seeing a lot of people coming back a lot of time waiting for it.
Yeah. I mean, I make rulings and there's a reason why these rulings are made. Right? And then you're also on, I believe you're on gang supervision as well.
I'm not sure.
Is he on gang supervision?
Sorry about that.
Well, were you a previous gang member?
I used to be, yes.
All right, so he was on gang supervision. So I have somebody standing behind. I'm not saying I'm following that, but I'll consider it. All right. So if you want to talk to your attorney about that, you can.
We talked over the break about whether or not you would agree to go to DDRF, and you've indicated that you do not want to do that, correct?
No, I'm trying to get an outpatient vote on the thing.
Okay, and knowing that that's not an option,
Just 1 second. I'm sorry. I don't know if the court reporter heard his answer.
can you repeat that?
I was trying to get an outpatient program. Anything, but no.
Okay. Then that part.
But if it's not possible,
All right, so you're trolling off. So my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, your answer to the defense counsel question is you're trying to get into outpatient treatment. Is that correct?
yes, sir.
Oh, it's fine. He's just mumbling. And if you're not able to get into outpatient treatment, then what was the next thing you said?
Not figure out what happens.
All right.
Mr. Worth, I explained to you the only options in front of you are DDRF, if you agree to it, or that we have a sentencing and the judge will determine how much time you receive. Do you understand that?
Yes.
And since outpatient is not an option, would you like to avail yourself of the opportunity to do DDRF, or do you want to be sentenced today?
I guess we'll sentence.
Okay. And I advise you to go with DDRF, correct?
All right.
That's all I have to put on the record, Judge.
Thank you. All right. So he's pled true to violation of condition number 39. Is there a proposed agreement?
There's not, Your Honor. I would ask the court, I know that the defendant has stated that he would like to be sentenced. I don't think you should do that. I think you should say, hey, you're going to the inpatient. That's, I think that's a better option for him. If, I know he said he wants to be sentenced, but, and I can speak to that if the court would like to.
Sure. I mean, here's the question, Mr. Huerta. You don't get to decide whether you're in inpatient treatment or outpatient treatment. Now, they want to interview you for DDRF. Either you're going to do that or you're not going to do it. So, do you want to be interviewed for DDRF? Yes or no?
Yeah, I guess.
No, it's not I guess. It's either yes or no.
Yes.
You can't write your own program. Here are your options. Your options are you can be interviewed for DDRF. And if they deem that you're acceptable to the program, that's where you're going to be. Or if you don't want to do that and you tell the court you don't want to do that, then I will revoke you. Those are your two options. Now, if the court were to revoke you, then the most I could sentence you to is 8 years. I'm sure your attorney will ask for something probably less than 8.
20 years just is deferred.
No, he's not on deferred. He's on regular.
He's been adjudicated? Oh, okay.
Yes. So, no, he's on regular. So the most I can sentence him to is 8 years. So, and he legally, I have to give you credit for any time served that you've been in custody. So those are your options. Do y'all need to discuss this again or no?
Do you want to do DDRF or do you want to be sentenced? That's not an option. The judge has told you and I've told you there's two options. Sentenced, we don't know how much time, up to 8 years. Okay, to be sentenced.
All right, so you want to be sentenced?
Yes.
All right. You've pled true to violation of condition number 39. Court is finding violation of condition number 39 true. State, what are you asking for?
We're asking for the 8 years, Your Honor. The defendant has been to the prison in 2010 for an ag assault with a deadly weapon. I know you've seen the SIPs in this, and I know it's a robbery, Judge, but it came in as an ag robbery. This was, the defendant was stealing from an O'Reilly's. When the employee tried to stop him, he pulled a knife on the plaintiff witness in this case, Judge. So this is an inherently scary crime, Your Honor, and so that's why we're asking for the 8 years, Your Honor.
All right, defense?
The client would ask that you give him the minimum of 2 years and credit for time served.
The court is going to grant the motion. The court will sentence you to 8 years in the prison. The court will give you credit for any time served. There's to be, just one moment. There's to be no contact with Abel, Abel Ramos, and O'Reilly's located at 955 South General McMullen, San Antonio, Texas 78237. And there is to be a $500 fine. Time and money will run concurrent. Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yeah.
All right, you have a limited right to appeal, and that right to appeal is as it relates to the allegation in the motion, not the fact that you're on community supervision. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, good luck to you, okay?
As the video comes to a close, it leaves viewers with a powerful reflection on the importance of personal responsibility and the impact of our decisions. What stands out most is how repeated chances were given, yet they only matter if someone is willing to take them seriously. The situation clearly shows that ignoring important obligations doesn't make them disappear. It only makes the consequences stronger over time. This moment also highlights a deeper life lesson. Sometimes people are placed in situations where they must choose between a difficult path that leads to growth or an easier path that leads to long-term loss. The decision made here was not forced. It was chosen. And that choice ultimately shaped the final outcome. It reminds us that accountability is not just about following rules, but about understanding the value of the opportunities we are given. In the bigger picture, this story is not just about one person, but about a principle that applies to everyone. Life often gives second chances, but they come with responsibility. When those chances are ignored or taken lightly, the results can be permanent. It's a strong reminder that discipline, honesty, and willingness to cooperate can open doors, while resistance and refusal can close them just as quickly. Ultimately, the video leaves us thinking about our own decisions and how we handle responsibility in our lives. It encourages viewers to take commitments seriously, make better choices, and understand that every action has a consequence. Because in the end, it's not the chances we are given that define us, but what we choose to do with them.